Hi, this is Cousin Russ. Follow up to the last video I did on Family Tree Maker 2019 on the Family Search 2.0 that I talked about the last video. I hinted to the amount of cleanup work that you may choose to do, and I'm going to give you a brief summary of what that might look like. So I downloaded that file in the last video, and in the planned workspace that I showed you, there is a More button. And in that More button gives me an idea of how much data came in, and I want to share that screen with you here and point out a couple of aspects of information that is on this screen. The first one I'm going to talk about is the sources and citation. As I mentioned in the last video, there was one source, FamilySearch, Family Trees, which is correct, and there are 477 citations that are in the file that was downloaded. So I want to go a little bit deeper on that one, and here is the sources workspace. And here's what that screen looks like. On the left-hand side is the source group, which is FamilySearch, Family Trees, which is correct. Now, if I was going to go to work on this file and bring it into my master database, I would leave it like that. The source group. I would leave it as a source group because that would tell me where I got that data from, all the facts that are in here, all the links to facts. I would want to know that those facts came from FamilySearch, Family Tree. So that's the source group. What I would though do is clean up the citation detail to make the reference note the way it should be, as close to evidence explained as possible. I would also put the source group into the source template feature. So it is very consistent with evidence explained. And as I've done in other videos, I use the citation text for my own information. I do not use the check mark that's here. I remove the check mark, and this area is for my information. I would remove the check mark from the web address. I can always come back and go to the web address from here, but I don't want that. That should not be part of the citation. FamilySearch.org is the website name and the URL. So the reference note in the lower right-hand corner would be correct. But if I were going to use this as my database, I would not do it that way. I would break up each of the citations, like to the census, a bunch of census records in here. I would use the standard source template for a census record. I'm not going to do that here. I just pointed out that I would have 477 citations to clean up. Next item on the list is the Places workspace. I hinted to that earlier because the place names are not consistent in FamilySearch, Family Tree, and Family Tree Maker. We want them to be consistent. So there's 226 place names. I'm going to the Places workspace and look at the place names on the left-hand column, and you'll see that there's a bunch of commas. That is how the place names were presented from FamilySearch, Family Tree. You will notice that United States is here. There's no United States here. Kansas is spelled out here. Kansas is not spelled out here. So all of these would have to be cleaned up, assuming that you want to use the map feature and that your place names are consistent. Now, there is a report called Resolve Place Names, and there is the report that you do. There's a, do you want to back up message that happens before this window appears? But what this says is that there's 220 of the 226 place names that have to be resolved. Now you see this says Westchester, Chester, Pennsylvania, United States is how the record says it's over here. but it's down the list a little bit further, but it's suggesting Westchester, Chester, Pennsylvania, USA. So you could resolve this quickly by putting the check mark in this column. Pennsylvania, United States, you put a check mark in this column and it will resolve the place names, which is exactly why you want to back up before you do the resolve place name. So some of this you could do right from the resolve place name report. The undocumented fact report is another one. I run this report regular on in my database. And here is what that report looks like. And it turns out there were 9 pages. So all of those facts that you see listed here do not have a citation for them. And now that's probably easily resolved by looking at the citations that does exist for each one of those people. And if a fact is referred to in that document, that source information, then you can copy and use the copy paste feature within Family Tree Maker. So there's 9 pages of records, and I make sure that all individuals are selected here. You can edit from here. I've blogged about this before, where I would make a fact called undocumented fact, and I would add it for each of these profiles and then work off of the filter in feature to make sure I go and clean up all the undocumented facts. So not to scare you, this was the reality of the feature that is presented. Remember, it's a new feature, and that I believe that dialogue continues to happen between Family Tree Maker and FamilySearch to make the interface easier. But think of all of the time and effort that you put on FamilySearch family trees. Now you can get that database into the Family Tree Maker program pretty quickly. Like the demonstration that I did the last time, there was 97 people in that database that is in that file, and I would take the time to clean it up. I would think about what I want to do with that file. Do I want to bring that information into my master database or keep it as a standalone file? And that's 2 different work efforts for me, depending upon how picky you are with your documentation and place names, and I am. So anyway, hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave a comment on the blog, and the blog link will be on YouTube, so you can make the comments back on the blog. Thank you very much, and have a great day.